When are the boomers going to retire so we can get full-time jobs? They're not. The two oldest people in my job are in their 60s, and within the past decade, they filed bankruptcy. So literally in their entire lifetime, they never learned how to get good with money. They only use their income for their expenses. And it doesn't matter how big their paycheck is. It could be $100,000 a month. They only learn to use their income for their expenses. So they are check to check every month. You need to not wait on boomers. You need to learn to use your income for savings, investing, and then expenses. That's the only way to give yourself a shred of freedom. Financial education is the key. So start living on less money right meow.
We are in the age of information. We have access to infinite information readily at our fingertips. All we got to do is type in some keywords and search for it, right? The other generations, like boomers, a lot of them don't even know how to work the computer. Shout out to the ones that do, but there's an information gap between the ones that don't. They'll say it themselves if you ever talk to a boomer. You guys have the internet. You know, we didn't have that growing up. You guys have a lot more opportunities, and it's true. We do, but so do they. If you're still alive, you still can thrive.
45 years old, and I'm supposed to be saving for retirement, but yet I can't afford a trip to the grocery store. I can't fill my freezer. We have to just get the basics for each week because the groceries are through the roof, gas is through the roof, and we haven't gotten any raises to combat that. How the hell are we supposed to retire? How are you Gen X mamas? How is the Gen X generation even making it? Are we going to retire?
What's crazy is I was telling my Gen X parents that they would be the last ones that get to retire. I thought this was years ago. Now I'm realizing, I don't know. You got to make the right financial decisions. If not, then I'm not sure. I thought for sure, my generation, we going to have to work until we perish. If jobs are around, I don't think jobs going to be around. It's going to be a lot different than what we could even fathom, right? It'll be UBI by then. So the work aspect will be out the window. There will be no more physical labor from humans. But that's another topic, though. I was telling them, y'all are probably the last ones that'll get to retire years and years back. Now, I don't know. They might not be able to retire because the boomers can't even retire. What gets me is when you in the store and you overhear boomers like, yeah, I just had to go back to work. Like, bro, you like 70. Or when you see them in the store, you see them as cashiers. It's like, man, moving all slow, holding up the line all the way wrapped around the store because they're older. They can't move as quickly as they used to, but they still got to work. They still got to make money. I hate seeing that. That's all I'm saying.
Retiring from their positions because the reason why boomers are not retiring from their positions is because they simply cannot afford to retire from their positions. I keep seeing like a lot of different posts from, millennials and Gen Z saying like, yo, the boomers are ruining everything and why couldn't they just leave their positions? Like clearly you see that Red Lobster is gaining success because they have a millennial who is serving as CEO, whereas you have these boomers who are holding on to positions and they're wrong. And the funny thing is it's because they can't afford to retire. And the irony is it's their fault that they can't afford to retire because they, pushed and voted for all these policies that we have in place, which makes it difficult, right? Difficult for people to be able to retire. And so they have to sit in these positions until the day that they die. Because if they don't, they will be broke. They will be homeless. And then they will need the socialism that they hate so much. It's crazy, right? But it's true. They cannot afford to retire. Not only can they not afford to retire, they have no other value. Imagine that. They have no other value. So, like, if they do retire, what could they be? The grandparent of who? The people not having children no more. And those who are, becoming grandparents, they're still not even doing that well. Like, they just can't afford to. And they have no value. They have no value. And a lot of it is at fault of their own. And I just want to add this point. When I say that they have no value, I mean they have literally spent years campaigning that only people of value are those who are working, That's why you have a lot of this stuff happening right now. That's why you got all this boomer take the Medicaid away because you should be working to afford to be able to get to access health care. Like, this is their fault if they know it. If they retire, they are no longer worth anything because they have created a society that says you are only valuable if you are working. And now that they're up in age, they can't retire because, again, if they do, they will not be worth anything. And that is at fault of their own. Because they lived in a world where, at the time, they were so spoiled and they thought that, they earned everything. And therefore, they wanted to make us, millennials and Gen Z, earn everything when they didn't realize y'all didn't earn shit. Like, a lot of the stuff y'all got was because of government benefits and opportunities, the very same policies and laws that y'all voted out and shot down. And y'all shot it down, and now you can't afford to live, so you have to stay working until the day that you die. And they can sit there and act like they love it so much. They don't. They love the lifestyle, and they know they have to keep up because again, at the fault of their own. Because even though they may have purchased those houses for little, but them property taxes are eating their ass up.
Oh yeah.
Best believe them property taxes are eating their asses up, and now the health care. Eating their ass. The prescriptions is eating their asses up.
Yeah.
And so no, they don't want to retire. They can't. They can't afford to. They will die poor.
And most people, grandparents, where I come from, I don't know where you come from. My grandparents didn't have mansions. They died poor, in the hood, in the trenches, right? My grandma in the trenches right now, and she don't got no money like that. The same thing gonna continue to happen if we don't build something. See, our grandparents never really built anything. They just went with the system. They were the age of people that worked. They worked hard. I give them that. They worked hard all their life, but they never escaped the rat race. They say black people, and I speak on black people once again because I'm black. Since post-slavery, we have not went nowhere. In 400 years, we have not elevated as a people. Let's put 2026 into it. Gen Z and the millennials are doing the worst in American history. Now we're going back. So the little bit of progress that we may have made has now been subtracted. We back where we started, if not even more behind. Because we didn't utilize the opportunities, the information that we had, and now it's being taken away. Those opportunities are being taken away, right? We didn't start nothing for ourselves. We didn't pass nothing down to our kids and the grandkids, right? Boomers still working. And I'm not just speaking on black people because you got struggling white people too. Same goes for them. If they didn't build anything, if they didn't pass nothing down, their family didn't inherit nothing from them. Yeah, it is their own fault though. Don't blame the system. Look at yourself. What did you do wrong? Where did you go wrong? Even if you fell for the trap, that's where you went wrong. You fell for the illusion of the American dream. That no longer exists anymore. Everything you worked for might be taken from you if you don't really own it outright.
And that's why they don't want to let those positions go. And the only thing that makes me laugh about it is because I'm like, it's their own fault that it's happening. And so if you are a millennial, and I will say this, like at this point, millennials, just keep starting your own businesses and just let them other ones, boomerang companies and businesses, just dry out. Let them fail and fall apart. It'll happen. Because they don't like listening to other people. That's not what they want to do.
Not only start your own businesses, skills, high in demand skills and hustles, side hustles. Become an investor. That's the best thing you could do. Invest in the cryptocurrency, the stock market, Forex, futures, affiliate marketing, digital real estate, like a YouTube channel. Something you can get residuals off of, right? DAOs, something, whatever you want to get into, whatever you're interested in. Or start your e-com store.
Out of all the restaurants around the time when Red Lobster is around, which ones are really still doing very well? And how many of those are ran by boomers? Right? So, I just say, no, they're not going to retire from positions. And I don't want y'all to sit around waiting for them to retire. Because like I said, they can't afford to retire. What you need to do is get on out there, get together, build some coalitions or some companies, and run them out. Run them out of business. That's just how I feel. I think that's the only way. That's my thought.
Okay. become the competitor. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Everybody love a little friendly competition. You become that competitor that drives that company that they work for out of business. You come along and take their spot. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Hey, y'all let me know what y'all think about this one. Hey, this gonna be controversial. I already know. The boomers gonna debate with her. But millennials, I want to see y'all debating too. My Gen Zs, my Gen X. Come on, get in the comment section.